Greetings. I decided to, because her videos are great, MC à la maison, I decided to interpret some of them. And I wonder about using music in the background because it is, I'm not sure if people prefer that or not. So I will do it now without music and we'll see. The title of it is The Relation Between the Narcissistic Parent, Malignant Narcissistic Parent, and Highly Gifted Child. Throughout the video, I will use HP, high for high potential, so that I won't be repeating always extremely gifted, or so I will use HP. And this was a video that was requested. I will explain how it is possible, in fact it is highly probable. The malignant narcissists are attracted to high potential people, HP. The highly gifted, since malignant narcissists are attracted to HP people, some of them are entering in marriage and therefore have children. Being highly gifted is, for the most part, genetic. The specialists are not wondering about that anymore, that it is mainly genetic. This duality, and you will understand why later I am speaking about duality of the malignant narcissist mother and the highly gifted, high potential child. Obviously, it is a mix that is explosive. Obviously, what this will involve, and particularly what it will involve in the child. The malignant narcissist will not change, and of course, he or she is using people as objects. As cruel as this might sound to you, they do it also with their children. Having a HP child is allowing the malignant narcissist to embellish the appearances. The narcissist will in fact have a child to embellish their social appearance and to appear totally adapted to the world. Thus, to have the image of the perfect family that is highly appreciated in the society, you need to have children, at least two. It says that what is highly appreciated by society, that you at least have two children. The trick of the malignant narcissist is to act one way outside the house and act another way inside the house. Inside the home, should I say. Then you will have a child that is very much submitted. When I'm speaking about duality, it is when you have a HP child with a narcissistic mother, the other parent is abandoned the boat. It did the mission, even though they are still there, they are not really there, will be themselves submitted to the malignant narcissist. So at home, everybody will be submitted to the malignant narcissist. including the spouse or the people living with them. I say to not rely on the appearances. The one that is more inclined to control everybody, to manipulate everybody, we cannot say otherwise. They will be seen as the poor person, or they have a propension to use pity ploys, so that people will say, oh, poor him, poor her. Especially outside the home, they will entertain this image. They will be seen as nice, as very caring. They will also seduce, but in a way that is not apparent, by using pity ploy. They will profusely complain. For instance, if the child is not perfect, because that's what they want, then they will complain in front of their child as well, to embarrass them. The child will be the design, it will be, the child will be the chosen patient. What is the chosen patient? It is the one that is supposed to have a pathology. Since the child doesn't have a securizing home, the child will take this pathology, this chosen pathology. The narcissistic parent doesn't have any, cannot securize the child because they don't have any emotion for the child. Everything that is it is helping the child to grow is not in this home. Of course, the other parent can demonstrate affection, but when the malignant narcissist is back home, this affection is lacking. You have children like this who will develop themselves by themselves. They will grow up by themselves. They will have a lot of unanswered questions. Those children usually keep the problems to themselves and also are masking the problem of their narcissistic parent. At the beginning of their lives, of course, the child is not aware that this is not a way to function. That is not the normal situation. We are growing to think this is normal. So at the beginning of their lives, they will not make waves. They will be inhibited. Their emotional suffering is not going to be seen outside. Sometimes the society would think about them being bizarre and inhibited, and they will be considered model children that are not moving, that are not playing, because it was forbidden by the malignant narcissist parent. When the child will live a joy, the malignant narcissist parent will make sure to extinguish it. So it is a particular life that the child is living. The child will experiment sufferings, but it will be kept inside. So this child will have difficulty to speak, and it is exactly what is the role of a helper, is to help the child to externalize what they are living, to put words on the emotions, and to recognize their emotions. Therefore, when it is a child that has high potential, who does have a lot of emotions and a lot of life inside, the high potential child that is used to wear a mask outside is also going to use masks inside the home. The child will play a role because there is no possibility of expressing himself. The child must wear this little costume that is way too tight for her. The child must make himself invisible in this tiny costume that is way too tight to wear. That's what the child will do because the child wants to survive. This child will operate, will be, his way of operating will be survival. That will be a child who will hate to be a child. That is a child who will want to be very quickly autonomous. That is a child that will play the role of a parent. That is a child who didn't have a childhood, really, because the child will first take care of the parent that is rendered ill by the other narcissistic parent. He will try to help her, especially if the child is he has a high potential. The child is therefore extremely empathic. The child will desire to help the parent that is rendered ill by the other narcissistic parent. The child will try everything to make the other parent happy. Therefore, the child will be even more disadvantaged because he will be extremely alone, because it is difficult to invite other children at home knowing that the narcissistic parent does not react as they should. That is a child who will refuse to have friends, or will only have them outside the house, outside the home, should I say. This is a child who will be extremely concentrated on the outside the home, because she feels that the only way she'll be able to express herself is outside, if it's going well outside. If the child does have problem at school, is not going to talk about it at home. She will keep it to herself because she already has a lot of problems to deal with at home already. The child will survive in this situation at school because she is used to survive at home. They know how to survive. They are being specialized to survive. This is not a child that is a child. It is a child that is already an adult, because the narcissistic parent had inverted the role, so that the narcissistic parent has having the role of the child and the child is having the role of the parent. When the malignant narcissist is taking care of the child, it is to punish the child, to control the child, to refrain the child of being well. So the malignant narcissist parent will monopolize the attention of the child. If there is friends to the home, then the malignant narcissist will monopolize all the children, the attention of the children at home. So automatically the child is not a child, because there is a parent that is rendered ill by the malignant narcissistic parent, because the parent that is rendered ill by the malignant narcissist is also being controlled by the malignant narcissist. So the child doesn't have parents. One is being controlled by the malignant narcissist and rendered ill, and the malignant narcissist itself that is not a parent. The parent that is ill doesn't have the necessary interiority, the necessary what it takes because he's been disabled by the malignant narcissist. When it says the father, you will have a father that is working excessively, a father that is not going to be at home, a father that is also who already demotion, uh, that is not emotionally available. There will be no affectuous gestures, will not take the child in his arms. It is a child that eventually will be afraid of physical contacts because it's not something usual for them. Instinctively, the child will be attracted to what they already were exposed to. It is a child who will have more chances to encounter another malignant narcissist in their lives. Wow! So interesting. What a wonderful opportunity. It is a child that will be automatically attracted by malignant narcissists because a child will be prompted to repair what was lacking at home with his parent, especially if the child is excessively empathic. If he is very empathic, he or she will become therapeutic with other people. Unfortunately, he or she will contain themselves in this role, and the child, there is a big likelihood the child will forget themselves in the process of wanting to help others. That is exactly what the malignant narcissist asked the child for many years. It is what is really causing a problem. This is a child who cannot really have learned to express themselves, who did not learn to develop their personality. So this is all to be done in therapy eventually, or simply in the life, because there are people who are being high potential and they are doing it by themselves because as a child they want to become very much autonomous, and this will impact the type of family they can create. I mean, for the future generation, there is an impact of having a grandparent that is malignant narcissist as well. It also depends if the parents of this high potential little child are still together or not, because his parents can eventually divorce, and then the child will be left to by themselves to the malignant narcissist parent. It's very complicated, very much culpabilizing. They have, speaking about the normal parent that was under the control of the narcissistic parent, they have to rebel themselves to be able to bring support to their child afterwards, if they can. But there are people who are not only living physically, they will also live in mental illness. The second parent can eventually get mental illness from dealing with a malignant narcissist, or the second parent can eventually consider suicide and act on it. So it is a situation that is very tragic for the child, especially if the child is hypersensible, which is the case of the HP. The child will develop a taste for living intensively, despite that the child is extremely introvert. She knows that it is not socially cool. The child will want to develop themselves. This child has waited to live. This child has waited to live for many years now. So when the child will have an opportunity to live something that is out of the range of their experiences, they will live it 200%. Then the malignant narcissist can come back to the child and say, no, this is not right to live like this. I'm not in agreement with this, because the goal of the malignant narcissist is to refrain the people that are around them to live, to be happy, because the malignant narcissists did not succeed to be alive themselves. And the malignant narcissist is extremely unhappy about it, but it's never their fault, of course. There is a covert hatred that they are hiding very well, but it is a hatred that is extreme. Why it's not possible to help a malignant narcissist in therapy? The malignant narcissist does not like to be, it does not have the tendency to like to be psychoanalyzed, doesn't feel like to be in front of another professional. Why? Because they feel it like a danger. The malignant narcissist makes sure that everybody outside the home is under the impression that this is a wonderful family where all the children are happy and all. But in fact the children are super discreet, they are hiding very much what is going on. They are not developed at all, but they didn't have the opportunity to develop a personality either. They didn't dare to express themselves, they didn't dare to develop themselves. It is a child who, when will be external to the home, will really want to live, will want to develop themselves to the maximum of their abilities, and we need to sustain this child to the development of their person. The future of the child depends on the structure of the family. It's not just the father or the mother that are extremely important to the child. This child who doesn't really have parents can turn to grandparents, for instance, can turn to uncles and aunts, who can eventually take them home in order to help them to develop themselves, to guide them to something more stabilizing, a more stabilized situation, at least emotionally. It's great for the child who is having a father or mother of substitution who can share with them what's going on when it's possible. This will greatly help the child to become themselves and discover themselves, and to reach their emotions that were hidden to themselves because they needed to protect themselves around the malignant narcissist. So those emotions are very deep and not on the surface, for sure. The problem is that this child will have difficulties to express themselves emotionally. They will need help to put words on those emotions, and they will have to learn to allow themselves to live those emotions because it was not allowed at home. Also anger towards this malignant narcissist who stole their lives for a while, because this is what it's really about. They have their childhood stolen by the malignant narcissists. This child, when they have substitution, parental substitution, they feel as if they are salvaged. They feel they avoid a catastrophe. I will end for now here, because it's very long to interpret. I'm literally interpreting from what she's saying. Thanks for listening. So far I have interpreted 15 minutes of a video.